Not all book boxes are made equal. Let's see which ones are the best. Hey guys, welcome back. Today I will be comparing 6 book subscription boxes to figure out which is the best. I have purchased all of these boxes with my own money, and these are all my own opinions. Keep in mind, not all of these boxes ship everywhere. I am based in the US, and I will also be basing the prices off of USD. Let's start with the book-only options and then get into the boxes that include goodies. Book of the month. This is the OG. Book of the month has been going since 1926. It's actually pretty cool to see the pictures of old catalog mailers from back in the day. So every month, Book of the Month picks between 5 and 7 selections for their main picks. After your first 3 shipped books, you can get up to 2 add-ons at a discounted price, either from add-on new releases that they've picked or past books. Each box comes with its own bookmark, and then each book is a standard edition of the book. The only difference being that they have the little Book of the Month coin at the top, and then also on the inside covers, they have an inscription. Also on the cover, they have their logo as well. Now, the logoing isn't something that I at first liked, but it is something that I've come around to. One thing that I do really like about Book of the Month editions is that they are all uniform in size and they look nice on a shelf. As you can see, these are all of my Book of the Month books, and I like that they're very uniform. So with Book of the Month, they are typically really quick to ship. I usually order the first or second day that they drop and then get the book about 5 days later. For billing, your account is charged around the 25th of the month, but then you don't know the book selections until almost the 1st of the month. So they are charging you before the book picks are released. The other annoying thing can be not knowing when the picks are going to drop. Sometimes it's several days before the 1st of the month, and sometimes it's on the 1st of the month. It just kind of seems to be like whenever they feel like it. And so I'm constantly, when the end of the month comes, checking the app, checking to be like, have the books released yet? Have they released yet? It would be nice to have them be released on this same day every single month, so I wouldn't have to have this like anxiety leading up to the end of the month being like, when are they gonna drop? Book of the Month does have a bit of a reward system. After 3 shipped boxes, you become a friend. And as mentioned earlier, you get add-ons at a discounted price, and you also get access to their little merch store. The real reward comes in after you've shipped 12 boxes. You become a BFF and you get a free tote bag. In your birthday month, you get a free add-on. And also in December, you get to pick one of the Book of the Year finalists as a free add-on. Also, as of this new year in 2023, they have added audiobooks as an option for your credits. They are also now offering a new package for 2 credits for $14.99 each, which for me isn't actually a deal, since for me it'd be cheaper just to do a normal credit and then the add-on price. They also do new subscription discounts where your first month is $10, and then sometimes during the year I've even seen this deal offered for $5. They also run specials all the time where if you refer a friend and they sign up for this service, then you'll get a free book credit. Now, in my monthly Book of the Month videos, I feel like I give Book of the Month a lot of shit for their selections, depending on the picks, obviously, and I think my mood for that day. But I do feel like they tend to sway more towards picking thrillers for monthly selections, and there isn't a lot of variety each month. If I could change one thing about Book of the Month, it would be to always have 5 or so standing genres, and there always be a new release in each genre every month. Then, for some months, we wouldn't get 3 thrillers, 1 lit fiction, and 1 fantasy. We could have standing genres for thriller, lit fiction, 1 fantasy, 1 romance, 1 historical, or maybe a 6th pick for nonfiction or biography. That would be great too. So that's my rant. I have lots of ideas. Book of the Month, you should probably hire me. Aardvark Book Club. So Aardvark Aardvark. I cannot say that word. So Aardvark is the new boy in town. The first month for this subscription service was October of 2022, and they're basically the same as Book of the Month. But so far they have had an entirely different pick selection from Book of the Month, which when I first heard about this service, I was like, oh, are they just gonna have the exact same picks as Book of the Month? Just from a different, book club service. So far, they've been completely different, but also at the same time, I haven't been super enthused with the picks that they have done so far. To me, at least, none of them have been like, oh my gosh, that pick sounds amazing. Like, I need to read that book, So I do really like their beautiful, colorful box. I think it's really fun. And then in their boxes, you get this little Aardvark bookmark. And then this is like a little insert that shows what books were the picks for that month. And then this is the book. So Aardvark books have their own little Aardvark logo on the front cover, and then also on the actual book at the top. Now with Aardvark, since they are new, I think they are working with smaller publishers. So there have been a lot more books that I have never heard of before as their options. So they could be really great for discovering unknown authors. On the other hand, you are paying almost $20 for a hardcover book that for some of them, you could get the same book cheaper at a different retailer. But on the flip side, a lot of the books you couldn't even get in hardback format from other retailers, again, because of the book's unpopularness. So if you prefer hardcover books, well, then that could be a good thing for you. I do think, though, that the quality of their hardbacks are a little low. Like this one, when you open it and you're reading it, it squeaks. And that was just driving me nuts when I was trying to read this book. Ugh. Like, I have never had a hardback book make noise before. So that really threw me off. My biggest complaint with their picks is that the majority, it seems like, of the new releases for the month aren't actually new releases. For example, there was a January pick book that's release date was from November. And it seems like the majority of the picks of the current month actually came out from the month previous. This is just a personal preference thing for me, but in my mind, if you're going to have January picks, they should be new release books that are being released in January, not, November or December. Also, the weird thing is you have to make selections on their app for the books and not on their website. They do have a website, you just can't use it to purchase the books. And at the time of filming this video in January, they do not have a skip option yet. The FAQ says it is coming soon, but if you want to not get charged for a month, you have to completely cancel your membership and then rejoin later if you decide that you do want to get books from another month. For their monthly selections, their release date is being indicated as always being the first of the month. And then also like Book of the Month, you get charged before the new book releases get dropped. So I am very cautiously optimistic about Aardvark. I think that as they grow in popularity and have more months under their belt, they could become a real contender with Book of the Month. I do love getting a new book in the mail each month, and I enjoy the idea of both of these services. With how the services stand now, Book of the Month seems to be a better pick if you want more mainstream, well-known books. But if you want more things that are under the radar, then check out Aardvark. All right, now moving right along. These are the boxes that come with bookish items. We have Illumicrate, Fairyloot, and Owlcrate. And all of these I feel like are pretty similar. You can go to their websites and see all of their past boxes to see what types of items and book designs that they've done in the past. I found that the items for these boxes can be a complete toss-up. Like there are things where it's like, what am I going to do with this? To things that are like super neutral and usable for everyone. All of these sub boxes release the theme of the upcoming month, along with hints of what the book might be the month prior. Then you get charged around the first of the month. So you have almost a whole month to decide if you want to skip the box or not, and then the boxes do ship around the end of the month. So for example, The December box theme would be released in November, and then December payment processes around the 1st, and then the box ships at the end of the month, and then the box is delivered sometime in January. So keep this whole process in mind, especially if there is a new release book that you're hoping for in the box. If it came out at the beginning of the month, then you could be waiting until the next month before you actually get it. I've personally found with these book boxes to just not keep an eye on when they're going to be shipping and just be surprised when they're delivered, because the shipping can be all over the place. All of these boxes, though, do have a shipping section on their website, and in that section, they'll give you updates on where the box is in the packing and getting ready to ship process. So you're always in the loop. Illumicrate. Illumicrate is the first sub box that I have ever gotten. I was on a short wait list, and then I've had this subscription to this box since January of 2022. Now, Illumicrate has just recently opened their US distribution center, which is great because the shipping is way cheaper for the US. But full disclosure, they have been having issues with getting the books delivered to the center for packing and shipping out to customers. For example, they just shipped their November box in the middle of January. I actually had the December 2022 box ordered for this video, but then I canceled it near the end of January because I got sick of waiting for it. So for the sake of this video, I have dug out this is the February 2022 Illumicrate box. Illumicrate doesn't specify what genre of books their boxes are. There have been a mix between young adult and adult in the past, but they mainly tend to be fantasy-based. Now, with the majority of the items I've gotten from Illumicrate, I felt like the quality was pretty cheap. And then also, for some of them, like, I had no idea what the items were referencing. Like, for example, the items were so specific to the book that they were referencing that I don't feel like I could use this like on an everyday basis, because it has like this huge logo of something that I've never heard of. Like, yeah, you know, it's a cup, that's great, but I mean, what am I gonna do with this? And then this is like a makeup bag. So I mean, you know, that's pretty nice. Now, with all of these sub boxes as well, you always get a insert that tells you what the items are and what book they're from. So that's nice. But at the same time, if there's this huge logo and an item that I don't know what it is and I haven't heard of the book and I'm not gonna read the book, do I want to use this item? I have not used the vast majority of the items that came from these boxes. Off the top of my head, there've been like a handful of things that were pretty neutral, like fuzzy socks, like a notepad. Oh, I do remember, like, I think that this is a nice little trinket tray, like of a Medusa's head. I have this like on display. I'm not gonna actually use it as a trinket tray, but like I think it looks nice on a shelf, so there's that. I also did have one incident with them where I didn't receive an item in a box. Did I get everything? Mug, cushion cover, headphone case. Oh. I didn't get the headphone case. Don't know what that looks like. I know that I probably could have contacted them for them to send it to me, but I know I wasn't gonna use the item, so I just let it go. So since I found the items junky, I changed partway through the year to the book only box. And I did this because the books are beautiful. So here's an example. They come in their own little sleeve. And then, so this is the book that came with this specific box. And I just was blown away. I love their books so much. I don't feel like I've ever gotten a book from Illumicrate where I was like, you guys really like skimped out on that design there. Like, I feel like they put their all into designing these books. It's a completely redesigned cover. It has sprayed edges. It has a design on the inside cover, and then also a design on the actual book. It's just amazing. And on top of it, I feel like their actual book picks have been really great. I've really enjoyed pretty much every book that they've sent me. I've read and I've really enjoyed it. And I got a chance to read books that I wouldn't have read otherwise. For example, with this one, I probably wouldn't have picked it up on my own, but I got it from their book box and I thought the book was fantastic. Also, because I think their books are so great, I do buy their exclusive books whenever there is one that interests me. The exclusive books on their website are completely different from like these book boxes. With the book box, it's their pick and you don't know what the book is going to be before you get it. Although they do give you some hints and sometimes before if the book is a big enough release. Like for example, Book of Night was one of their releases and Babel was one of their picks as well. Then they would actually tell you in the clue like, oh hey, by the way, this month is going to be Babel, I think to kind of generate some like buzz. But most of the time, they do not tell you what their book is going to be. Also, as a bonus with their service, their customer service is great. I've emailed with them multiple times over the past year to change my box status from, box to book only and then vice versa. And they've always been really great about it. Also, on your account, you can log in and skip a month whenever you want to without having to actually talk to anybody. And as long as you skip before the first of the month, then you're good. And since they release the clues for the book weeks before that, you have plenty of time to decide whether or not you want the box. And they also have unlimited skips. Owl Crate. All right, now with Owl Crate, this is a young adult fantasy box. They also do offer Owl Crate Junior, which is middle grade books. Where Owl Crate differs is there is not a book only option. But on the other hand, there are a lot of monthly books that are available for purchase on their own in the store after the month has passed. So that's nice if there's one that you wish you would have gotten, but you didn't. You can go to their store and see if it's available for purchase on its own. Now that doesn't happen every month. It does depend on their demand, but you might get lucky and you might be able to get just the specific book that you want. Now, in terms of quality, I would say that Owl Crate's book designs are a little less impressive than other boxes. So for other boxes, they typically every month will do sprayed edges, while with Owl Crate, it's very rare to get a sprayed edge. They still do have the custom designs for their covers, and I do find the designs to be really nice. So for example, this one is a complete redesign for the cover. And then also it has custom end papers, a reversible dust jacket, and also a design on the book itself. Now for the bookish items, Owl Crate has been my favorite. Now I think that their items are more toned down. The designs are more neutral and item-wise for me, they're more realistic for me to use. So this is metal straws. There's 5 of them in here and they're like little heart-shaped. Like I will use this. Here's another item, like this is a reusable like tea bag and then the tea bag rest. And it's just very neutral. These items from the box are probably the most like specific that I've seen. They are salt and pepper shakers. They do have, I think that they're maybe characters' names on them. That's kind of hard where it's like, I don't know who this character is, but if you were to read the book, then it'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. But at the same time, like it is still a very neutral design, which I'm a fan of that. So with Owl Crate, like I'm not even mad that they don't offer a book only box because I genuinely do like their items. For Owl Crate, they do have a percentage off code on their website for first time subscribers if you sign up for their emails before you buy the box. So don't forget to do that if you do get Owl Crate. Get your code for the discount before purchasing the box. Now, same as Illumicrate, they are equally as easy to skip a month. Just log into your account and skip before the first of the month. And they also have no skip limits. Fairyloot. All right, Fairyloot is pretty similar to the other two, and like with Illumicrate, they do have a wait list, and I was on it for a good couple of months before I was able to get the young adult box. When looking at their past catalog, Fairyloot does seem to have more books that I've never heard of before, and they don't seem to overlap with the picks for Illumicrate and Owlcrate as often. Just a side note, that is something to note. Illumicrate and Owlcrate I have seen many months before where they do the exact same book pick. So if you get both boxes, be aware of that so that you're not getting 2 of the exact same book. Okay, so here are some items from Fairyloot's December box. I have found their items to be pretty nice quality and also pretty neutral in terms of me being able to use them. So also with their items, and I really like, they have these tags attached to them that tell you what the item is and what book it relates to. And I thought it was really cool. For example, this item, they are carnival bookends. And I like that it is specifically related to the actual book that came in the box. box. We also have this really nice book sleeve. And I don't know if I liked this. I was more impressed with these items this month because I really like the carnival theme. And so everything seemed to have like a carnival theme to it. And I loved it. And then also an embroidered towel. And then just like with Illumicrate, they do have their own sleeve for their custom book. This is also a completely redesigned cover with beautiful sprayed edges. Love sprayed edges. I think that it just like really increases the quality in terms of design for the book. End papers. And then the design on the book, which is beautiful. And then also different end papers. So I just love the designs on these books. I am obsessed with special edition books. I just think that they're so beautiful. The biggest difference between Fairyloot and Illumicrate and Owlcrate is with Fairyloot, there is a 2-skip limit. So you can only skip 2 months in a row. And then by the 3rd time, you either have to get a box shipped or your membership is canceled. Now for all 3 of these boxes, Illumicrate, Owlcrate, and Fairyloot, for the book that month, you do get a theme reveal and a vague hint at what the book is going to be. These theme reveals come out a few weeks before you're charged, so you can read through it and decide whether or not you want to skip. Personally, I don't like being surprised, and I want to know what the book is going to be before I buy the box. Because if I'm not interested in the book, I do not want to spend over $40 for something that I do not want. So there are blogs and people out there who are really good at using the hints to figure out what the book is going to be. My favorite is Autumn Reads on Instagram. She is right almost 100% of the time. She does predictions for all 3 of these book boxes. I have no idea how she's so good at guessing the books, but bless her, because I love knowing what the books are going to be, and I think it's incredibly helpful. Okay, the last book box is a little different, but I think it's a pretty huge deal. Once Upon a Book Club. Look how big it is. So you get a new release book, and there are specific items within the box that you unwrap when you get to a labeled page. They have an adult book option and also a young adult book option, and the genres can range from thrillers to romance to historical. Now, this box is the most pricey of the bunch, but the quality of the box really did blow me away. So I feel like the price tag can be justified. First of all, the box is physically huge, and then it comes with a custom book. So here's the custom book. So it has their little Once Upon a Book Club emblem on the bottom, but it's a completely redesigned book with sprayed edges, and then custom end papers, and a design on the actual book. Then in the box, you have up to 4 items that you open as you read, and this item typically correlates with the passage. So for example, this whole box says page 62. So then in the book, there is a sticky note that says open your gift. So you open your gift, and the tag tells you the quote, and the quote was, "Don't drink the tea." And it came with these glass matching mugs, which I've said before, I love how neutral they are. I feel like you could use this at any point, but it correlates with what's happening in the book. Another example is this full-size blanket that came in the box. It was vacuum sealed in this like small little bag, and then I opened it and it just like poof. It was this big, beautiful blanket, and I was like, okay, this is nice. What I love about this box is it did a great job of getting me to actually want to read the book immediately, versus typically I would just like stick the book on my shelf and just kind of like move on to other stuff. But because I was dying to know what each of these gifts were, I wanted to read the book immediately, and it got moved to the top of my list so that I could open these gifts and see what they were. Now, this box does have a very specific date structure that differs from the other boxes. Their new month reveal is done on the 15th of the month prior. For example, the December reveal would be November 15th, and then you get charged for the month on the 25th. You have between the 15th and the 27th to skip that month, and you're only allowed 2 skips in a row before you either have to ship a box or cancel your membership. One thing I would change about this box, or like if I could give them notes, I would love to have been able to pick a book from a selection of books like Book of the Month, but with gifts. Now, Once Upon a Book Club does do pretty detailed hints, And if you don't want to have just the hint, you can email their customer service and they will tell you what the book is going to be, which I think is just a fantastic idea. For this book box, you also do have to email them to skip a month. Like, they don't have an option where you can go to your account and skip from your account. But I did email them to skip January, and they were super cool about it. They were just like, okay, yeah, no problem. So I do love that they've made that very easy. Now on their website, they do have that for your first time box, you can get 10% off. Also, you can either have the option to do a monthly charge like all of the other sub boxes, or you can gift yourself one whenever you decide that you want one. But if you do that option, the box is $10 more than the normal subscription price. Overall, I think that Once Upon a Book Club is the clear winner. The quality of the special edition books and the corresponding items is just fantastic. Beyond that, the experience of reading and opening the related items is something that none of the other boxes offer. The only downside, of course, is the price. I would also recommend Illumicrate's book-only options. Their books are true works of art. Don't pay extra for the lackluster items, only get their books, I would say. And then Owlcrate is probably the most balanced picked. The special edition books are nice and the items are very usable. Now, of course, Book of the Month is a must for me, but I have skipped a few months in the past because sometimes I do feel like their picks can be kind of weak. It's really tough to just pick one book box because all of their services have their own ups and downs. But even if you aren't going to pick any of the boxes, checking out the books that they feature can be a really great way to find some new reads that may have not been on your radar previously. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I really appreciate it. I love to be able to just sit here and talk about book-related things. If you would like to see more of my videos, please subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!